welcome back to the Saint Sorrow channel. Today, I'm going into something that really confuses me about the world. I've spoken to many people, and some of them unfortunately think that there's only the physical world that we exist in. And this really isn't the case. And I'm glad that it's only some of the people, because I'd say majority of the people that I've spoken to, almost all of them believe there is something of a god, or at least a higher power of some sort, and think that there's, without a doubt, something beyond the physical world, beyond what we can merely see and touch. And then lastly, I'd say about half believe that there is a creator of this world. Not necessarily religious, but think that everything as we know it is created by something, by a creator of like something higher than humans. So that's kind of good news, but here's what kind of confuses me. Now, for the Christians watching this, I'm alluding to Romans chapter 1, so keep that in mind for the rest of this video. Now, the thing that confuses me about this is that everyone, or almost everyone, believes in a higher power or a creator, but they never take action on this. They never take action on this thought or belief that they have in their minds. And to think it's only one small step further, to think, well, if there is this higher power, or if there is this creator, then surely this higher power or creator would have knowledge and know how humans are supposed to live optimally. This higher power or creator will have the knowledge, or at least be aware of a way that humans are supposed to live in harmony and have an optimal way for us as humans to live. But no one takes this step, because I think people are afraid and resent the idea of what it takes to live in harmony. It's because it starts with the individual change to happen within. But overall, pretty much everyone I've spoken to believes this higher power or creator. But for them to say that is God would take very deep and honest contemplation and thought. And quite honestly, this is what got me. Now, to quickly go over my testimony, I believed in a creator already because I was into Native American spirituality. I was also really into philosophy and life teachings, and also how society functions and like sort of politics in a sense. And I was really interested in these things for a long time. I'd say for a good 1 to 2 years, I was seeking out philosophy, seeking out teachings, learning kind of psychology and the way humans interact with each other, like human nature, so to speak, or like psychology. It was all very interesting to me. Then, around the start of 2023, I'd say the end of January, I had a thought come to my mind. A question, which was, if there's a creator, this creator would have a set out way for humans to live, so that humans would have a way to live in harmony, so we're not killing each other and living in garbage societies. This went on for many months where I was like, okay, I didn't want to answer that. I avoided it in a sense, but it was always in the back of my mind where it's like, there's definitely a right way to live as a people. And that's what got me to seeking out religions, because I knew the answer would be in a religion. And after searching through almost all the world religions and their teachings, their fundamentals, I settled on the Abrahamic faiths, and then set aside Judaism, set aside Islam, because, to be honest, ethnically I can't be Jewish, and Islam contradicts itself. That leaves Christianity. And I'll explain those 2 points in a later video, but feel free to do your own research on that. And so basically I settled on Christianity. And of course I looked into different denominations, all like the church histories and teachings in that regard. And finally I settled on Orthodoxy, Eastern Orthodoxy to be specific, because I didn't want to be Catholic, and I didn't want to get into some far-off denomination like Mormonism or anything like that. But please, don't take me the wrong way. When it comes to denominations, I love everyone that follows Jesus and is a Christian, a true practicing Christian. I love all of them. I don't have any resentment for any of them. This is just my personal preference. Orthodoxy. I just have my own individual preferences and judgments, just like you, the viewer, does. So, take that with a grain of salt. Now, to continue with the video, every group around the world believed in this higher power. or once believed in this higher power. They all knew that life as we know it wasn't just some chemical coincidence happening in the brain. And this is just kind of my little theory on this, because I think every successful civilization from history that acknowledged this higher power and seeked guidance from this higher power, they all received guidance on how civilization, or I guess their city, should act. And therefore their city prospered. It's always these little civilizations from history that believe in this higher power and seek out guidance from this higher power that seem to succeed. Like these societies that focus on philosophy or teachings of what's a greater good. And yes, the higher power as well. They always seem to do really well for their society. For example, the concept of marriage, one man and one woman, until death. It's a concept that's found around the world. But for these civilizations around the world to carry it out, it takes the Christian concept of turning away from earthly desires of lust to actually carry this out until death. Staying with this one woman or succeeding in this marriage until death. You need to overcome sin in the Christian sense. But it still applies to all these civilizations around the world. They seeked out this guidance and put away their animalistic behaviors of lust and pretty much discovered the concept of marriage. If you haven't watched my previous videos, turning away from sin means you're turning to what's good. And what is good is what God is. So essentially, these civilizations turning away from bad are turning to God. For God is everything good and wise. Also, us as men, we are made in God's image, but have our sinful and bad nature as well. Yes, the point of this video is to say that we all inherently know the truth, that there is the higher power, the creator, called God, but no one acts on it out of fear or resentment, or they don't have the time, they never really put the effort into that, to really sit down and think about it. We have our own faculties on why we don't follow God's ways. The non-believers anyway. We have the knowledge on what it takes to have a prosperous nation or civilization, but we always seem to turn to our sinful nature for the result of quick pleasure, which will inevitably be our downfall. So, that being said, thank you for watching, and please turn to God. Thank you.